Hi guys, great to see you again.
Hey
I always
Amanda.
love coming back to Team One. Your new offices are so beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
So good to see you guys. And today we're going to focus on PlayStation, which you guys have dabbled in a little bit. We've run some of the ad units, and I know you're looking to do more this year. So this is perfect timing for me to come and give you the update. And I'm curious, are any of you guys gamers currently?
Yes,
PlayStation, Xbox? What's your
I
cup of
have
tea?
both actually. Just like to kind of be familiar because we're playing with the platforms, obviously, just to
Yeah,
know what's from an advertiser perspective. But I love what PlayStation's doing with some of the games and exclusives coming out this year. So I have to
awesome.
say, hands down, I think you guys took it at E3.
Yeah, I was just going to say you must have watched our E3 press
Yeah,
conference. I know you couldn't make it in person, but
I watched it online. It was great.
okay, good. And we got to check out some of those when you were walking around the booth, so
Very good.
it's great to see that. Cool. So let's dive in. I'm going to start out just talking about the video game industry as a whole. I'm sure many of you can remember, 10 years ago when gaming was just a fad and everyone thought it was the 13-year-old boys down in the basement, loners playing by themselves. I am here to let you know it is definitely not a fad. Gaming is completely mainstream. And as you can see here, 51% of all U.S. households own a dedicated gaming console. So that's pretty insane. Last year alone, it was about a $15 billion business for software sales. So it's pretty insane how much people are spending on gaming. And it's not just gaming that they're doing with their consoles. We're also seeing them watching movies, TV shows, listening to music. I'll show you guys in a little bit. We recently launched a partnership with Spotify on PlayStation, so you can now listen to Spotify through your PlayStation. So it's really becoming, an entertainment center. But something to keep in mind specifically with PlayStation is that we've always kept the gamers as the core focus. So I know Xbox has gone a little bit more the route of being that entertainment platform. We are truly staying focused on the gamers, and you'll see that as I take you through our ad executions. They're all very native, non-intrusive to the gamers. And yeah, that's why PS4 currently is the number one console out there in terms of sales.
Great.
So, yeah. And I thought I would share with you this awesome video that just takes you back a little bit. It takes you back through the nostalgia of PlayStation and where we've come from and how much we've grown in the past couple of years, and also highlights some of those amazing games that everyone has loved. So enjoy. Okay, so diving in a little bit just on the past, and this is funny for me because when I first started working in the industry, I worked on the agency side, and I started at McCann working on Sony Pictures, and then I moved to OMD working on Sony PlayStation. So it's really funny that now I've come full circle, and I'm actually at Sony working on PlayStation. So I remember all of this. I remember launching the PlayStation 2 and working on all the titles. So it's fun for me to walk back through this. So back in 1995 is when PlayStation originally launched, and as I'm sure you can remember, Sega and Nintendo were the big things back then. So they were, taking their knowledge as an electronics company and really putting that out there and making a name as a gaming company. And what they did was they actually released games on CDs as opposed to cartridges. So that was a big shift and allowed for better quality with the gaming. So fast forward to the year 2000 when we launched the PlayStation 2, which, fun fact, that is actually the number one selling console still to date. So it did insanely well. And I think part of that was because this was the first console where you could actually also play movies on the DVD. So it was multi-purpose. And then, fast forward to 2006 when we launched the PlayStation 3. And the big focus there was that we were the first console to use Blu-ray for games and HD movies. And that's also when we launched and introduced the PlayStation Store, which meant that you didn't necessarily have to go to a physical store to buy a game. You could actually download it on the same day. So that was huge, and that's where we saw the growth of the PlayStation Store, which has now turned into a billion-dollar business each year in terms of game sales. And then fast forward to now with the PlayStation 4, which just launched in 2013, which seems like just yesterday. And it's the fastest growing console in the US history. So we sold over 1 million within the first 48 hours, and it's still the number one console in the US. And one stat that I love is that 31% of the PS4 console sales actually went to folks that did not have a PS3. They had a Wii or an Xbox. So the console was that powerful and was getting such great reviews that people were willing to shift their allegiance to a new console. So that's a stat that I love to point out. And then the biggest thing with the PlayStation 4 is just that it's very social in nature. So obviously we talk a lot about social networks and how they've just grown over the past couple of years, and that's what everyone uses and knows how to use. So the PS4 kept that in mind when they were creating it, and so there's actually a share button on the remote which you can see, and it's really cool. Let's say you're watching an ad unit, you can share that out to Facebook, to Twitter, a video ad unit. And the PlayStation also records up to 15 minutes of your gameplay, so then you can go back and share that out to your friends. So it's just a really great way to kind of show off and share what you love on your PlayStation. And I mentioned the Spotify as well, that just launched on PlayStation Music.
Great.
And what's cool too with PS4 is, so Spotify is available on PS3 and PS4, but on PS4 is you can actually use your music as the background to your games. So that's a really cool feature.
Does every game have that feature, or just the games with music, I guess, probably, right?
Yeah, that's a great question that I'm going to have to ask. It would make sense that it's the games with music, that you can kind of swap it in.
Yeah.
But it's such a new feature. Let me get some clarity on that.
And then we saw Morpheus at E3.
You guys tried it. Didn't you love it?
Great. So
I forget which
that's
games
only
you
on
played.
PS4, I think, right? Yeah.
That's currently,
next
that's
generation,
going to be plugged into the PS4. And I know you guys have a big partnership already with, oh my gosh, not Morpheus,
Google Oculus Rift.
Oculus, thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have that with Oculus, but just keep in mind that the cool thing with Morpheus is they're not like updates. You don't have to update your program like you do with Oculus.
Yeah.
So with Morpheus, if we were to do something, I think it'd be amazing to do something in a dealership where you can actually test drive the car in the Morpheus.
Right.
So something to keep in mind. Thanks. I know Terry was interested, so we'll have to get you guys up to the headquarters.
For sure.
Talk more about it. Obviously, you're aware, you guys all came to E3. It was so much fun. But major announcements came out at E3, and this is what really helps us stand apart from all the other, from Xbox and all the other gaming companies as well. We have a ton of exclusive games. They're Sony produced. They're exclusive for the PlayStation. We talked about The Last Guardian and Horizon while you were there. And then the other huge thing is that this year, we have a ton of exclusive content and play it first content that we've never had before. So we had a huge, the huge little booth for Call of Duty. That's insane for us to be the first. We're launching Call of Duty 30 days prior to Xbox.
And that's a third party. It's not first
that's
party
Activision,
game.
Correct.
So
these are all third party.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so a lot of our third party partners are coming to us first with their exclusives, and they want us to launch their content first since the PS4 is doing so well right now.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So huge benefit for our gamers. Now, obviously, there's more to just PlayStation than gaming. There's so many different divisions of PlayStation, such as PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, which gives you additional access to titles and early access. Of course, we've talked about PlayStation Music. There's also PlayStation Video, where you can, of course, watch Crackle, Hulu, Netflix, all of that. And let's see. It's still recording. But the biggest things to keep in mind here, of course, the PlayStation Store, which is where you can actually advertise, and I'm going to take you through those different ad placements. And then PlayStation View, which we talked about at E3 as well. It's the live streaming TV network and on-demand feature.
Great.
So those are things to keep in mind in terms of...
you guys have a lot of subscription products, it looks like, yeah.
Yeah, we do. We do.
Great.
A lot of amazing stuff in our library. I know it's a little crazy slide, but we've talked about gaming as a whole, so now let's kind of focus a little more on that PlayStation audience. We currently do have 68 million active accounts, and it does skew more male, so unlike Crackle, which is a little more even, this does skew about 84% male. But keep in mind, there's definitely co-gaming happening, so people are playing together, girlfriends playing with their boyfriends, husbands, etc. The average age is around 26, so it's definitely not that 13-year-old kid in the basement. The gamers are growing up and they're continuing to play. And then that beautiful 18 to 34 audience that you guys are always looking for is 71%. And they're spending on average about 18 hours a week on their console, and that varies from gaming, watching movies, streaming, listening to music, etc. So we've talked about the PlayStation Store and how that was introduced with the PS3. And I love this stat because the PlayStation Store is actually the number 2 way that people are buying games. So in terms of revenue, it's the number 2 next to GameStop. And I know more and more GameStops are starting to close. So I have a feeling we'll start to see that flip-flop. It's just easier. People want to download and start playing while the game is downloading, and it's right there for them without even having to leave their house.
Right.
And given this stat, that's why the majority of our ad opportunities are within the PlayStation Store, because that's where they're spending so much time. Their wallets are open. They're ready to make purchases. So hit them while they're doing something that organically makes sense. So here's a really great video that just highlights some of the ad opportunities and of PlayStation. So I've mentioned that the reason why I think PlayStation has done so well is because we've stayed true to the gamer. And you can absolutely see that in all of the ad placements that I'm gonna take you through. Our ads totally outperform online ads just due to the fact that they are very native and unobtrusive. So as you can see, 59% of the audience actually pays attention to and interacts with the ad versus 6% that are annoyed by the ads. And I probably shouldn't show you this one with the video commercial since that's, just in talking about Crackle, but...
It looks like your source is cut off, so this is from your maggot study as well.
Oh, yeah, this is from the maggot study that I told you guys about with Crackle.
Right.
So it was, Crackle...
Yeah, it sort of doesn't speak very
game.
highly to banner ads or pop-up ads, but
Absolutely.
no surprise because your atmosphere is so native in nature.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, so you guys have run this before, so you're familiar. The PS4 What's New screen. So when you first turn on your console, the What's New screen is what you land on. And as I mentioned with the PS4, it's very social in nature. So you can see this looks like a social feed. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what it is. You're able to see what you've been doing, what your friends have been doing in the past 24 hours, 2 days, 3 days, however far back you go. So you just get a good sense. It's a way to keep up with what everyone's doing. And so the PS4 What's New, you would own one of the top 3 chiclets, as I like to call them. And they're static. However, they are click to full screen video, which you guys have run before. And then, of course, we can click out to your website. In this case, we wouldn't necessarily have a product page for you guys. The product pages are reserved for endemic, so games and movies that you can actually buy in the store, just to keep that flow really nice for the audience, as I mentioned, keeping everything unobtrusive for our gamers.
Got it.
Yeah. And this one, what I love about it is you can do a one-day blast, 25K. So it'll be awesome for us to kind of flight those out throughout the course of your campaign, just for some big pushes.
Oh, that's different than the way you guys used to sell it, right?
Yeah, we now get to do one day.
So that's no longer Tuesday to Tuesday here. This is
exactly
okay.
One
so
day
it makes
flights,
it more affordable.
Much more affordable, and I love that we can then, because your flights are pretty long, so I love that we can do like one a week throughout the flight.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be on Tuesday necessarily.
Correct. It can be any day that you want.
Fantastic.
So then the PS3, pretty similar in terms of how it operates. The look is just a little bit different. And this one, as you've been able to in the past, this one you could flight however many days you want to flight as well. It's not the Tuesday to Tuesday. And this one also offers you the demo targeting and the geo targeting, which I know you guys don't necessarily need since we do everything nationally.
And that's through your proprietary ad server, correct?
Correct.
You're still not ad server.
Correct. Yeah,
okay.
We're still, we're not yet there for the ad serving, but I know that hasn't been a huge concern for you guys.
Okay.
So but I'll keep you posted as that changes. We're close. So hopefully by the holidays, if not early next year. Okay, so welcome Roadblock. We've talked about this a lot, and I think this is going to be the year that you guys are going to actually take advantage of it now that you're comfortable with PlayStation and you see the performance. This is the most massive ad unit that you can buy on PlayStation. So as you enter the PlayStation Store, this is the first screen that you would land on. And the welcome Roadblock, the welcome screen is only there if an advertiser has bought that placement for the week. So in the store, everything is still Tuesday to Tuesday. Just because that's when they manually go in and update. It's the day that games come out. So that's when they swap out the ads. So it runs for a week. You have a beautiful whole screen. The majority of gamers are watching on a 60-inch screen. So you have the whole screen with a skin, and we typically recommend one video. You can run more than that. You can run up to 3 videos in the placement, but I would recommend one. And this one is definitely much more of a branding play. Since we're not going to have a product page for you guys, it's not going to click out to a product page, but something that we have explored, a new placement that we are actually launching is a hub mosaic. So there is the opportunity to have some hotspots on here where we could click it out to a different location if you wanted to dive into specific cars. So something more custom that we can continue to talk through. You guys could be the first one to do it.
Great.
Okay, so the Spotlight 1, as you can see, this is the navigation within the store. And if the Welcome Roadblock had been purchased for the week, you would see that right there. That's what you would land on. However, in this case, no one has bought the Welcome Roadblock, so you land on the Spotlight. That's the first screen. And for you guys, it's actually the Spotlight 2 unit. The Spotlight 1 is reserved for endemic. So you would be purchasing the Spotlight 2 unit. So as you can see, it's still completely on the screen. And it's a hover to play video. So you hover and within 2 seconds, the video starts playing.
Great.
So another beautiful brand opportunity. Spotlight is just highlighting everything that's new and coming out. So great placement.
Are you guys tracking video completes? That's important to us.
We are not yet tracking video completes. So, but I can share with you video impressions.
Okay. So like a start.
The starts.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right.
Okay, so the branded storyline. This is my favorite hands down placement on PlayStation because I think it gives you the most value and the most room for creativity, especially for you guys showing off multiple models. So what this is you actually are a part of the navigation menu within the store. So as you can see here, this is a Nike, and they actually have their name on the navigation menu. I think it's actually cut off. It's right down here. And so as you navigate down in the store, and that's what our gamers know how to do. They know how to navigate down to like games, new games, movies, check everything out. They go down the navigation. And as you would land on it, this first screen would appear. So similar to the Welcome Roadblock, you have the full screen with the wallpaper and a video. And then they can actually scroll right, and you can have up to 5 different screens. Mm-hmm. So it's a really awesome opportunity to highlight multiple vehicles within one unit. And this actually is live for a month. So it typically runs 2 weeks in the main nav and then 2 weeks in the games nav or the movies or movies nav or TV nav. So we'll figure all that out. But really cool. And we design all this for you. So don't stress. I know you guys are thinking like, you got to get your creatives involved. We just need your assets.
Do we have to buy additional inventory to drive traffic to these destinations? Or
no.
It sounds similar to what Xbox sells, but...
It's actually, no, you don't need to buy additional traffic because you are highlighted within the navigation menu.
Right.
So it's almost like an editorial placement is how I like to think about it.
Very good.
So people will find it automatically. You absolutely can. Let's say you buy a PS3, PS4 welcome screen. That'd be awesome to direct that to the branded storyline just to give you a little bit more boost and kind of tie everything together, but you definitely don't have to.
And will your team help us and guide us a little bit on like what the call to action should be?
Absolutely.
Because it seems like, does it seem out of context to just put the word, Lexus F or whatever? Like, would anybody know what that really means?
We can definitely help you tie it together. We've also in the past, around E3 time with Klondike, we were able to work with some of the titles that were coming out at the time.
Oh, great.
So there could be an opportunity for us to explore that as well.
Gaming, right?
Yeah, some of the titles that are coming out. We can try to explore that partnership as well, and maybe they get to see like an exclusive clip in one of your players as well. So it just ties it all together really nicely. So yeah, lots that we can explore there. Okay, so moving into the category sponsorship. So not as massive as the Welcome Roadblock and Spotlight and branded storyline, but also very impactful because you are roadblocking specific categories. So we can focus on premium categories like the new games roadblock. As you can see here, Maleficent had that. And it's that first ad unit, hover to play.